Hi there, I'm a former Citrix admin, worked with the Citrix environment for a number of years with farms of various sizes. I'm going to share a couple tips with you. Today's tip has to do with the use of a published desktop of a XenApp server, and one of the dangers you run across in the environment using such a configuration. By default, when you publish a desktop of a XenApp server, and a user has access to that desktop, one of the concerns is where users save data. Um, with the default settings, users unfortunately have the ability to create folders directly on the C drive of the XenApp server. And as a consequence, you have the possible danger of running out of drive space as a result of users just storing miscellaneous data there. So let me show you an example of what that looks like. So I'm going to log on as a standard XenApp domain user. And this guy has access to a published desktop, which will launch. And after connecting to the desktop here, you'll see if I launch File Explorer, this is pretty much the default view. Everything from quick access, desktop downloads, documents, pictures, and so forth. This PC, which is actually the Citrix server, and so forth. By default, session drives are mapped back to the user's local machine as well, and that's what you see here in terms of the CD and the C drive. But this local disk C is actually that of the XenApp server. So I click on that, I can see the directory structure of the XenApp server. And again, as a standard user, I can right click and create new, create folder, and lo and behold, I have the ability to create folders. I can add files into that directory if I want to, and copy files from my local drives, which are mapped as part of the session, to that location. So that's a major concern for any XenApp server admin, with a concern again regarding wanting to control where your users can store data and wanted to make sure you're not running out of space on your C drive. So how do we fix this? The quick and easy method is to change the permissions of the root of the C drive and remove the user's ability to create folders there. So let me come back to the C drive here and go ahead and delete this for the time being. And it's gone. And log out of my Citrix session. Now I'm going to go to that XenApp server, and I'm logged in currently as user administrator. So I'm going to pull up a command prompt and run as administrator. Now, running as the administrator, I'm going to run a command called cacls C with a few arguments, and I'm going to cut and paste this in there. So cacls C colon whack /E space /C /P space users :R and enter. Process directory C drive. So I've changed the default permissions off that C drive. And one important note I want to mention here is that this should be done before installing any antivirus software during your server build. Otherwise, that software may interrupt this command and prevent the proper application of this cacls command. All right, so now I've made that change. So I'm going to go back to my workstation, and where I've already logged in as that TS user 1. I'll do an F5 to just refresh that screen. Launch again that publish desktop, and we'll see at this point if I can create as a standard user a folder and add files into it off the root of that C drive. If everything goes the way I'd expect, that should not be possible. Okay, so I'm going to go back down here again to the File Explorer, come to my local C drive, right-click, New, Folder, and it's not going to let me. It's asking for administrative rights because it's using the user account control to make that happen. And naturally, as a standard user, I don't have those rights, so I'm not able to do so. So I'll go ahead and click No. So I'm unable to modify that directory. Now, by default, a number of these directories do not allow users to have changed permissions through the structure, but you should, if you have any custom directories, you should double check the permissions on those directories to ensure that's the case. All right, so that's the tip for today. Remember that command that I showed you, that cacls C:\/ space /E space /C space /P space users : R. All right, that's your tip for today.